What is happening, folks? It's Cooper, the Welcome to Cooperville podcast, about to bust into episode number 54 with Zeb, Mr. Christensen of Screaming for Silence. He is back. We'll get to that in just a few. But first things first, Midwest Meals and MidwestMeals.com, they are still open. They are essential to your health during this crazy time. Meal prep taken care of, all your macros, your nutrients, what you're putting in your body, all right there on the packaging. Easy, convenient, no cleanup. It's really my perfect existence. 13 rotating meals on the website. Also, Cravings Crushers for this month. The Red Velvet Cake. They are insanely delicious. It's like when you have that mid-morning craving or maybe that afternoon craving. Cravings Crushers, man, I'm telling you, bust one in, 8 grams of protein, feeling better about life, and they're delicious. So that is a win, and I believe a win. MidwestMeals.com, the website. Make sure you use the promo code Cooper at checkout. That's 10% off your first order at MidwestMeals.com. And yes, by the way, yes, they ship nationwide. Violent Gentlemen Hockey Club, still rocking that enforcing social distancing line of gear that they have. Go check that out. Plus, there are other great, awesome items that they have. Hockey season, not a thing at the moment, but you still want to support your team with the appropriate attitude. I think the days of wearing like the hockey jersey for your team are over. This really makes a bold statement. Go to violentgentleman.com, check out their line. They got the hats, they got the hoodies, they got the jerseys, they got the t-shirts, they got the 3/4 length, they got the lady stuff, they have socks. I mean, they have it all. Violentgentleman.com, promo code Cooperville15 at checkout for 15% off your first order. And the fuel that gets me through very long days around here during quarantine, Monster Energy, Monster Ultra, Rain Body Fuel, my 3 favorite friends right now. Doing a lot of the podcast streaming live on Twitch lately. That usually happens in the evening, which is not usually my prime time to excel. I'm kind of a morning guy. But thanks to Rain Body Fuel and Monster Energy, that is helping me get through some fantastic live streams. And then we put the live stream on the podcast platform, obviously. So kudos to them and their new thermogenic line, the jalapeno strawberry, the red dragon. I mean, they are, man, in love with them. I'd hug them if it wasn't for this social distancing thing. Monster Energy and Rain Body Fuel and hashtag Monster Podcasts. My buddy Zeb Christensen from Screaming for Silence is back on the podcast. We had a great time on the live version, the live stream on Twitch, which, by the way, if you're not following me on Twitch and you don't have the app, download the Twitch app and look for No Limit Cooper and follow, and then you'll know every time we're going live with guests and talking stuff. And it's really cool because you can interact and join the chat. We had some great football conversation going on with some of our friends that were in the live chat during this. So enjoy it. Zeb Christensen, episode 54 of the Welcome to Cooperville podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Cooperville, the Welcome to Cooperville podcast. Subscribe, get updates, feel better about your life. Welcome to Cooperville.com. Check. Welcome to Cooperville. Make sure you use a coaster.
It's the Welcome to Cooperville podcast, quarantine sessions, live from the basements. It's Cooper. It's Zeb Christensen from Screaming for Silence. It's mayhem.
What's going on?
You know, trying not to go crazy. How about yourself?
Yeah, just living life, man. Saturday night, I got a nice drink poured. I'm just lounging on the couch, hanging out on Twitch with you. So,
dude, it's been a minute since you and I have caught up. You had you on the podcast a while back and chatted about things. And I mean, had we known then what we know now,
right?
Hey, dude, like 2020, it's gonna be off the hook. It's gonna be off the chain. We're gonna fucking dominate. We're taking over the world. Oh,
all the sports we talked, like everything we talk now would have a completely different perspective from what we talked about.
And not even just the quarantine safer at home aspect of it, but right. I mean, dude, fucking Kobe. I mean, that's how we started 2020. What in the world? So I know, and that's your team, man. That's your dude. That was
my guy. That's my guy. He's my number one. It's just so crazy to think about that. But yeah, and then between the Kobe thing and then now to the virus and just no sports has just been crazy. It's a bummer.
You know, it's been a wild year for obviously for all of us that are dealing with this, but when you go back to, going into January, everybody always has like a new, like fresh outlook on things. It's instinctive nature. Like, all right, the calendar's turned, people go to the gym and shit and they change their diet and like life good. And then, the Kobe thing was like the first thing that kind of really blew up. And then there was the tornadoes in Nashville, and I have a lot of friends who live in that area.
Yeah.
And I actually had a couple on the podcast, and I was like, damn, like, rebuild the city, a lot of inspiration, and usually when those kind of things happen, especially in a metropolitan area, I mean, tornadoes hit up here in Wisconsin. People are like, how do you pronounce Chautauqua? And like, nobody cares. I mean, they care, right, but it's not like on a national scale. But Nashville was a big one. And I had a podcast scheduled for that day with Jess Lee, who's a country artist out of Nashville, that day. And, we rescheduled and then had a chance to catch up with her. And then it was the next week when like the world stopped.
Right.
And I don't know, it was, it's been a weird, I don't even know, like nobody's ever experienced this. I mean, they've lived to tell about it. That was the Black Plague. They didn't have the internet.
Right. They weren't able to go live on Twitch.
No, it was like Sir Isaac Newton just sat in a dark room and invented everything, probably the fucking groundwork for the internet. And he was like, oh, well, I'm bored. No, that's what I'm going to do. Me, I'm like, let's see how many recycling bins I can fill up over the course of the next 7 days. That's my life goal.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Just bottles, cans, you name it.
But what do you like as far as that?
Plenty of drinking, that's for sure.
It's ridiculous because I don't, honestly, besides the fact that I have to schedule, these kind of things and put together ad mats for them and post them on social, right, and they have to be date specific. If it wasn't for that, I'd be like, I don't know. It's could be Tuesday for all I care at this point.
Right. And the biggest thing is you just never know when it's going to go back. I mean, I don't think it'll ever go back to normal or what it was before. I think that everybody will always have it, kind of in the back of their head and be conscious about stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But just think about what it's going to be like going back to normal is weird. And you don't know when. You have no clue. Do you guys have a date? Do you have like a release date? Not release date. It sounds so, it's either an album or it's prison. It's one of the two. It's more like prison now than it is an album. But do you have a date that you got? Because you're down in, where are you? You're in Iowa, right? Yep. I'm just outside of Des Moines. Yeah. 15th is kind of our date right now. And that's kind of been the rule of thumb is they just kind of do it 2 weeks, 2 weeks and then just kind of take it back from there. So, but I've seen that there's some states opening and doing everything back to normal and able to go to bars and be around people. But
I don't know. Bars.
What's it up there?
Bars. Well, we have been, originally it was April 24th. And then we got an extension the day before. Nikki, I miss concerts too. I'm watching the live chat over here. We miss concerts. Disruptive One, what's up? Cubby 3 girl, hi, good to see you.
Hi, Laura.
So we are now currently in the current state of Wisconsin. We are in safer at home,
right,
until the 26th of May.
26th of May. Wow.
26th of May, and it is causing. We're starting to see really the tensions rise because outside of this, this glorious podcast live stream life that's paying me someday will pay me
right, the big bucks,
right,
in the future.
Yes, it's a down the road kind of thing, but
right,
I'm a small business owner. I have Captain Coop's Beard Company, which Zeb is a representative of. He proudly supports the pirate life and
love it.
But that's when the salons and the barbershops shut down and that reservoir of income was shut off like that. And I love all of the partners that we work with, all of our clients. They're amazing. I know they're struggling as well, but that was like, okay, so this is going to be tough for a minute. And when the can again keeps getting kicked down the road and it's like, oh, the 26th, and oh, it's this, you kind of start to, you worry about things. And won't yet get into the convolutedness of trying to file for unemployment as a business owner or try to apply for loans when you've only been in business for a few months. But people are starting to get antsy because they're stuck at home.
Right.
If you have children, I now add teacher to my resume. It's on there, like homeschool teach. I mean, he's been expelled, and he didn't make the baseball team. But
yeah, what's your favorite class to teach?
Phy-Ed.
PE, absolutely,
dude. Like if you follow me on Insta, I mean, you know, I'm up and I'm running and I'm gunning like early in the morning. If I don't do that, like it'll be bad.
Right.
So I get out and try to like clear my head. I run and do a bunch of other crazy workout stuff. And, you know, he starts to get like the afternoon hits and he's like, I get it, dude. I get it. It sucks. It sucks for everybody.
Right.
Let's go outside and flip a tire.
Yep.
He's 10.
Yep.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, I have a giant tractor tire in the backyard, which my neighbors are like, is that for some sort of some gardening thing that you're going to do? I'm like, no, I'm going to flip it over and over and over again because I have a lot of angst built up. Ohio, 29th in Ohio. Damn. Yeah. So Phy-Ed, that's what I teach him. Otherwise, I'm like, Common Core math? Dude, I don't know. I don't know. Don't ask me questions.
No way.
And I probably won't win Parent of the Year for telling him this. Oh, well, that is probably canceled anyway, that award ceremony.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't go to it anyway.
Yeah, I can't. It's tough to have somebody else accept it or online. It's so lame. But so I'm like, dude, I remember when I was in school and they were teaching us math and all this stupid shit that I felt I didn't need to know. You know, the basics, cool, I got it. You know, I remember a teacher, I think it was in 4th or 5th grade, that was like, you're never just going to be walking around with a calculator in your pocket. I'm like, those times have changed, lady.
Yeah, you are wrong. I
have answers to every single question you could possibly ask in my pocket at this moment.
Now what?
Yeah. What's up now?
Now what?
Mrs. Lunderville, what are you going to do? Yeah. She's probably passed. I rest in peace. I feel bad about that, but no, it's when you're stuck at home and you can't go out and have a beer, you can't go out to happy hour, you can't go to a concert, you can't go to a festival, you can't go to a fair, you can't, you know, the list of stores that are not open is long and distinguished, and you're stuck with your children and your significant other, and you go, oh,
right, this
is what it's like full time.
Yeah. And like for the first week, it was awesome. Like totally just, I don't have to do anything, like get up and, you know, a Zoom call or whatever, watch some Netflix, you know, make a bunch of food, drink some beers, and then, you know, do it again the next day. It's like, well, I don't got nothing to do. But after like the first week, then it starts to get like, what's going on here? You know, how long is it going to last? I'm definitely going stir crazy for sure.
Now, do you get to, do you get outside much? I mean, are you taking the chances and going to the stores? Do you have a mask? I mean, what's your,
I mean, I'm pretty basic. Like I'll go to like the grocery store and get my stuff, you know, a couple times a week, maybe. That's really about it. That's about it. Yeah. I've been to see the parents a couple times, but I have nieces and nephews that like, it's such a bummer that like, I went over there one night, we were in our just sitting in the truck and kind of getting to talk to them that way. But it's crazy. Yeah. I haven't been able to see them for weeks now. So it's kind of wild. Yeah. Cause
I you know, stalking you, I mean, following you on social media, you know, the nieces and nephews, I mean, that's a big part of Zeb and who you are as a human. I applaud that, but to not be able to have that interaction, and it's the same around here. I mean, my kids' best friends are his cousins because he's got some that are his age, a little older, a little younger, but that's like when the family gets together, they run amok and break stuff, and you know, the parents connect like adults for a second, but you know, to not have that interaction, I mean, I can tell that it's taken a toll on him because he's like, I mean, lucky for him, and I think this is how kids these days, man, did I just age myself? Get off my fucking lawn, kid. Like kids these days have it they're so used to technology. They're so used to like this Zoom thing is, it's like, yeah, I got, Google Hangouts, or we have, we can go on Skype, or we have FaceTime. And so they're kind of used to communicating from a distance. They're used to being able to be like, oh, well, now I can have, instead of it just being these two cousins, now all 8 of us can be in one chat, and we could all yell and scream, and not a word makes sense. And you're just like, oh, well, I guess they're content. But it seems like kids have been very, mine at least, I can only speak for mine, have really adapted to this better than I expected. Because I was like, man, you're not going to school. I mean, you're homeschooled, and I guess you have group chats with your friends at school every week. But he's like, oh, it's cool. I know now we can hang out after class work is done and jump on and play Minecraft, or they can jump into a group chat, or so I think kids are handling it better than the adults are, because we're like, there's always a child around. I can't do anything.
They're
ever.
always around.
They never go away, man.
I think it's funny that like I've even heard kids now that are like I can't play my Xbox anymore. Even like I've just been, they're playing those out. Even like that's usually they live for that. You think that's the dream? I know, like you have all day. You could do this the whole day, and they're like, man. Yeah, no, not gonna work like that.
Let's go flip. I already finished that game, the whole thing. Let's see. Robert's Deb says hi, Zebby. What's up, Robert's Deb?
That's my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Zeb's mom. He misses you. Wants to see you more drive-bys.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we've my family has gone to. I don't want to say we're breaking rules, but we are, according to the great state of Wisconsin, and I respect what the governor is trying to do, and it seems like we have. I want to say we've taken the lead. I mean, I'm looking at Ohio here until the 29th and saying, okay, well, I will enjoy those 3 days and of difference, but the family, like the close family, like we all know where we go. We're all going to the same 3 places. We go to Quick Trip, we go to the grocery store, we go to the gas station, the grocery store, and home. Like those are the 3 places we go. And it's the same places we've been able to go for the last 5 weeks now.
Right.
So we've had some moments where we've had cookouts, and we've had, I went and helped my cousin put a deck on the back of his house. And so, but it's weird because you're like, you feel awkward,
right?
Like an undercover is going to come up and be like, what the fuck are you guys doing in there? Like, I don't know, I'm just
like you're doing something wrong for sure.
Like I know these. Do you all live here? No. Yes. No. Yes.
Maybe not. I don't know.
No. It's a weird time to be alive, man. And
yes. From
an artist standpoint, I mean, I know you've got a lot of other stuff going on, but I know there's always an element to the creativity of artists that they need to be expressing it in some manner, and whether that's getting a chance to write, or getting a chance to hell, at this point with technology, you could put a song together. You can have so Casey can cut this, and everybody can kind of put their pieces together.
Do things like that, especially when you can't be together. I mean, even we're spread apart anyways, just because living in different states and stuff. But with technology now and all of this going on, like, man, you can at least make some stuff happen if you wanted to. That's for sure.
Well, what are you doing to keep yourself like not stabbing the wall with a knife?
Well, like I said, the first week I definitely drank a ton, and then I was definitely seeing the pounds come on. So I was like, all right, I got to pump the brakes a little bit. So try to get to working out. At least now down here, like the weather's getting much nicer, which makes it a lot more tolerant.
Right.
For a while there was still snow on the ground and stuff, and that was miserable. But just trying to stay healthy and stay away from people, and body anyways, so I don't mind it too much. But but I miss concerts. I miss I miss sports obviously too. So and it was such a bummer for us because we had a lot of things planned for this year. We talked on the first podcast this year. We got together about how it was our 15-year anniversary this year. We were also had a couple of the festivals lined up to play, and I was really looking forward to that, which, who knows when all that stuff's going to come back. We had one moved back to September, but who knows what happens, at that point too. So.
Yeah. Are you worried about fans at all? I mean, I know the artists, I know that feeling, not personally, but I know that drive, that stage feel. I mean, you guys didn't do this. You didn't get into this business to go into a studio and record music. That's a part of it, but going onto a stage, performing in front of your fans, having them sing the songs back, meeting them at the merch. I mean, that's that whole element, that concert element, that festival element is a massive part of why you do what you do.
Absolutely. So
I know that all the artists that are out there are yearning for that. Get back out, do a show, do a couple of shows. What do you vision the fans' perspective of? Because I see it from two different angles. I see it from, I don't care. I'm not going to live in fear of, go to the fucking show. Like, buy the tickets, go to the show. Don't miss a show when my band's in town or when a new band's in town. Go and see the show.
Right.
Do you think there's another side of the populace that's fearful of large gatherings like a festival environment?
For sure. I think it's going to take a long time for it to get back to anywhere where it was close to being before all that happened anyways, because I definitely think people are going to have that in the back of their mind. I just saw that Missouri opened up and now they can have concerts, I guess. And it's kind of funny to go through and read the comments. And just like you said, it's like every other one. Like one person is like, absolutely, I cannot wait. First show, doesn't matter who's playing, I'm going to be there. And the next one is like, oh, you guys are just ruining it. Like all this work we put in, now you're just going right back to it. Like, so yeah, I see it from both perspectives. I don't know the right answer,
Yeah.
It's what's safe, what's not safe, or what to tell people with that, I guess.
Well, I'm glad Missouri was the first one. I mean, we'll test Missouri out. Let's let's see how they do. Like, let's let
them go through with it. Let them go through with it.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. So, but it says that you still have to be 6 feet apart. Now, I don't know what fucking concert you want to go. I don't want to go to one where you got to stand 6 feet apart. We're not trying to watch the Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, burn, man! It's hot in here.
I'm trying to get the pits going. I'm trying to get the moshing, the crowd surfing. Like, gosh, I can't wait for that again.
Yeah, that's.
No offense to Dave Matthews.
No, he's a huge. Well, disruptive one's laughing. Yeah, I am too, man. Dave, that's funny. Dave. No, it's going to be a max capacity of 25. Yeah, no kidding. It's going to be 25 people at a venue. You know what this is going to be great for is like the up and coming bands or like the old Sunday night like show.
Yeah, absolutely. Like all those little dive bars that have bands on the weekends. The kind of the weekend warrior stuff. Like they're going to crush it when this comes back because I think that'll still feel kind of safe.
Dude, those owners are putting sold out fucking signs on top of the building, like sold out. How many did you sell? 13 tickets, man. We fucking sold this place out. Everybody's 6 feet apart. Everybody's got an X.
We've sold out every night for a week straight. First time in history.
Half the people were here for the fish fry, but the other half were here for Dave. No. It's going to be wild, though. I think there's I mean, imagine going to a show. I mean, especially when you guys are playing, if you're doing a hometown gig and they have to cap a room.
Right.
And and I'm no bullshit. I mean, you walk into any store now, there's X's on the floor. Some of the bigger stores have, already pre-made laminates that are like, oh,
right. You stand here.
You stand here.
Right.
And it's tough, especially, I mean, you're a Midwesterner. You're living in the Midwest right now. You understand, like we're all right being close to people. We're like, hey, right. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Let me get away.
Yeah. Just something like a simple handshake, it's like so weird now. Like, but in the Midwest, that's a big deal,
Let's see. But Cub 3 girl streaming Dave Matthews at the 2021 draft all the way through. Yeah.
So Laura is a part of the XFFL, which is the fantasy football league I'm in.
Oh gosh.
It's very intense. Very, very intense. So,
Bing, bing. That was for you. That's for you. That's for all of you.
I appreciate that. Is that a Dave Matthews song?
I have no idea. It sounds like it.
It definitely sounds like Dave.
That is the bing. I had to get the bing in there. I feel like you don't even need an instrument for that. We could just make that noise.
Just the bing. I've somehow went for the Rocky theme, I think, with that one.
I like, it's a better angle. Amish FF, hashtag Amish FF Draft 2020. You gotta do it by candlelight. That'd be awesome. Disruptive one. Jeez. No, it's in sport. I mean, that's, we were talking about sports, but I mean, I remember it was middle of March. I think it was right after St. Patrick's Day when they closed everything. They closed the bars down in the state of Wisconsin. I mean, that is like, if the world didn't end on that day, I guess we're going to live forever. But
right.
But when hockey shut down, baseball shut down, basketball shut down, which sucks because the Bucks were going to win the championship. Sorry, Zeb. It was going to happen, dude.
Come on.
It was going to happen. It was going to be amazing.
LeBron flips the switch and they win in 5.
Yeah. Well, we'll never know, will we?
No, yeah, that's what sucks. LeBron, he ain't getting any younger, that's for sure.
he's aging during this whole thing too. Because
I think one of the biggest things I was disappointed about was March Madness, man. Because those weeks are just always so fun, man. Like the weather finally starts to turn nice, and just basketball from morning to night for 3 weeks straight is amazing. And I was super bummed about that. And that one's definitely not coming back. And to think about all those players and seniors that don't get to finish out that year, and just it's crazy to think about that.
Well, all of those things, March Madness, spring training, NBA finals, hockey finals, all of those things, like when you're a sports fan, they resonate with you. They give you a state of mind for like the time of year. Like it's,
right.
For us in the Midwest, winter sucks balls, and you got to fucking live through the crap. But, you have these, you have basketball to kind of get you through. You got hockey to get you through. You got college hoops to get you through, but like spring training starts, March Madness starts, and you're like, dude, it's about to get good. Like life's about to just take off in this awesome summer direction. That's when festival, tour season starts, festival season starts to line up. Yeah. It's so good because you need that kind of shit when you're from around here. You're like, give me some good news, man. Give me something good. Awesome. Wisconsin made it into the tourney. Great. They started off really shitty, but they were doing well in the tournament. When that's gone and you go, the fuck am I going to do now? Like what?
Yeah. What do we do? What do we do?
Here's what you do. Send all the kids home so they can be with their parents all the time. And you can just,
I was definitely one of those people that resorted to watching the NBA 2K on PlayStation or whatever, like the tournaments on TV,
right?
And getting into it, I'm like, what? And I kind of had to sit back and be like, this is a fucking video game. Like, come on,
right? I loved. Didn't ESPN went to like the Ocho for a while?
Yeah.
They were running like belly flop championships and fucking turkey bowling and it was. But people need something. I mean, the draft, when the NFL draft came up, and it was weird as that was to watch.
Super weird.
I'm like, oh, I'm in the commissioner's den. Like, I thought it would be. I thought it'd be nicer. Like, dude, whatever. But it was.
Did you see Jerry Jones set up? His pad. Holy smokes!
My favorite part was when they went to the Belichick cam. When it was the Patriots pick, and his dog was sitting in his seat, and it's like, Bill Belichick, head coach of the Patriots, and here's a husky sitting there, and even Bill's house looks like, not mine, but
what you would think, not what you would think it is.
Yeah, well, he's married.
Yeah.
You get that room.
That's your room. The rest is mine.
And then I get the rest of the house is probably beautiful and gorgeous. Right. Jerry's on his yacht. Doing the draft.
Diamond stuff hanging off the wall.
Yeah, Belichick lives in his own cave.
Like I always look forward to the draft. That's such a big deal. Like I love the fact of the kids that's the day that they finally get to the dream becomes a reality. And I always loved that about the indie, all the drafts and whatever. But it was definitely a little weird. But I'm glad they still did it because that gave something to look forward to and something to keep us entertained for the weekend, anyways.
Yeah, I mean that was. It's ironic for me. It's weird because my kid was born on a Friday, and it's when one of the years they started the Thursday night first round, and it was the year that the Packers drafted B.J. Raji with a top 10 pick, traded back into the first round and got Clay Matthews, and my wife came down like right after the Clay Matthews pick and was like, "Hey," I'm like, I may have been drinking like during this.
A couple. Right.
And then when we traded back in, I'm like, the Packers just traded up and traded back into the first round.
Right.
Like mine and went defense. Obviously a very far cry from recent transactions. But
they're catching some heat for their draft.
Man, that's for sure. I don't know if I probably have an answer. But no, it's
does the answer end with number 12 wearing silver and black?
Shut your filthy mouth over there. No, man. No, but to wrap it up, that my kid being born, the draft, the vibe. I mean, I'm a huge football fan. You know this. I mean, that is like those kids, especially first rounders, who get. I mean, they've been living that. If they're a top tier athlete, they've been planning on the fucking color of the suit they're going to wear that night.
Right.
They're probably the last 5 years. When they got into school, they're like, yep, and I'm going to wear this, and I'm going to wear this. I'm finally going to wear this chain, and mom's going to be there, dad's going to be there.
Mom's taking it. Right.
And no, you're in your mom's living room.
Yeah.
On a webcam. And the delay was weird. So they're like, and they just drafted, Jordan Love. And he's like looking at his phone.
Right.
He's going, I am going to sit for the next 5 years because Aaron Rodgers is not going to the fucking Raiders. No.
Is it comparable to when Favre left? If Rodgers leaves, is that comparable? Does Rodgers hold a candle to Favre?
As far as that comparison of, was he like the same sitch? Right. No, because Favre had already talked a little bit, not like outwardly and not Sports Center, but there was talk of his retirement. It had been brought up, and the pick was surprising, but I think when you had a guy, and this would be for any team, if you have a guy who really had a legit chance to go number one,
right,
between him and Alex Smith, which we see how that panned out,
right,
but a guy who had a legit chance to go one overall, and you're sitting there at 22, and you probably have your guy, you have your guy at 22, probably a middle linebacker, or
right.
You're probably not going to get a top tier running back at 22, but you got your guy. And all of a sudden you're sitting there and that you have an aging quarterback who's still at the top of his game, still playing very well, has mentioned maybe he's on his way out. And you start to go, well, we could have had the number one pick in the draft and got this guy.
That would have been an option, right?
This would have been an option. We're at 22. So to be at the trading up thing bothers me.
Right.
You probably, if you really had a hard on for Jordan Love, you probably could have got him at 30, but to trade up, I think that sends an interesting message. I was looking at the teams between their picks, and I was like, God, are they really? I mean, if you're anywhere past 25, you probably are, unless you have a traded pick, or you probably are okay at quarterback,
right?
So that was a little surprising. The trade up, when they traded up, I was like, wow, man, I'm like, what? Like I couldn't even think of who they were going to go for. I'm like,
who they would take.
Why are you moving up 3 picks in the first. When they took Jordan Love, I was like, as a fan who knows that we have the best, if not one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right.
And you go, okay, I understand at his age, he's probably got 3 really good years left and 2 on a tail end. Why aren't you going out and get him just a beast wide receiver?
Right.
Why not get him that guy? And don't give me this.
Especially when it was so wide receiver heavy this year.
I know. And we didn't get one. We got a tight end. I have so many feelings on this because I know that Aaron Rodgers said before the beginning of last season, he said, I love the guys that we have at receiver at this point. And you have, obviously you have Devontae Adams, who, I don't know, top 3 receiver in the NFL.
Yep.
You've got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who was down year, injured. Okay. The list kind of stops there.
That's about all that's there.
But the stat that came out about Aaron Rodgers, only what if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Patriots? Yeah, I don't know. God. That's. Is it? I gotta try to read better. Is it Cubby 3 girl? Because I want to make sure I'm getting your handle right. Cubby 3 girl. Okay, we talked about that. It would hurt. It would hurt lots, but I think I don't think that. I think Aaron is okay with his receivers because I don't think for him, besides Devontae, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
And that's not a he is arrogant. That's cool. That's what quarterbacks are. They're arrogant. You catch the ball, Alan Lazard. Who the fuck was Alan Lazard before last year?
Cyclones, baby. Iowa State.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, you would know, obviously.
But yeah, comes out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Expected into that.
Big guy, dropped 1 pass, told Aaron Rodgers, I will never drop a fucking pass from you again, and didn't. Like the next play, they ran the same route down the sidelines against the Lions, and he caught it for the touchdown. But he's never had a true first round beast wide receiver ever. Right.
Yep.
Devontae probably, hindsight 2020 should have been a first round pick, but
Right. But they never took that first rounder, that wide receiver that was supposed to be the next guy or whatever.
Because it always came down to Aaron Rodgers can beat anybody. His defense sucks.
Right.
He'll give you the lead, hold it. And so for the last 3 years, cornerbacks, safety, linebacker from Michigan, 2 picks in the first round. I mean, Darnell Savage is going to be a beast at safety, and he'll be there for his career. He'll be, the free safety for his life in Green Bay because he is a beast. But you had a 12th pick, and you picked an injured guy from Michigan.
Right.
Who I had more sacks than last year. Like, legit.
Yeah, it's true. Was LaFleur there for that one too, their coach? Was he part of that pick, or was that after?
No, he was there because, remember, McCarthy got fired during week 15 or 16, week 14. So they had LaFleur before the draft. So that was his first draft. And it was Gutekunst's first draft as well as the guy, Ted Thompson had taken a arbitrary role. He's now the janitor or something. I think that's what he does. But I'm interested in this because obviously your Raiders are not in California anymore.
No, Vegas, baby, Vegas.
So do you? I'm wondering how that feels. Like, do you feel like you're still a Raiders guy, even though it's not like? I mean, they've obviously this isn't their first move. They've been Oakland, they've been LA, but
I was pretty skeptical about it at first. One thing, being a Raiders fan from the Midwest, is it's not very cheap to fly out to Raiders games in Oakland. But now that they're in Vegas, like, that's a little more reasonable. And I can tell you one thing, I'm sick of going to Kansas City when it's negative 20 degrees to watch my Raiders get their ass kicked and have to deal with the Chiefs fans all the time. So I'm looking forward to going to Vegas and checking out the new stadium. And yeah, I'm all about it. All about it.
Dude, that stadium is
oh gosh,
wow,
it's gonna be insane.
man.
It's gonna be insane.
It is. I mean, I love the Mecca. I love Lambeau. I mean, it's obviously, you know, if you're really, you know, and I think you fall into that football kind of blood, like it's a place
Absolutely
you have to, but it's, I mean, man, when the Mercedes-Benz Dome opened in Atlanta, I was like, holy, that is a bright, shiny, like we have like an old, like well-kept Cadillac and we've added some cool shit onto it. And it's
Absolutely.
like, yeah. But
and they'll never move it. They'll always just upgrade it, won't they?
No, that there's nowhere to move it. That's why we'll never have the Super Bowl in Green Bay, is because the infrastructure of the city is not built to have. I mean, it's not a metropolitan area. It is, you know, if it wasn't for that team, it'd be probably the same size of the city I live in, which is 70,000 people.
Right.
But it's the Mecca. But man, those shiny, fancy new stadiums, you know. L.A. Or not L.A., but Vegas. That's a bright new Mercedes right there, man. That thing is just shiny and
it'll be quite the experience. So at least even if if the team sucks, at least you get to go see an awesome stadium and get to be in Vegas, I guess. That's
what Vikings fan feels like. I've never watched a game at that US Bank Stadium, but I went. They kicked it off. The official opening was. Metallica.
Oh yeah, that's right.
US Bank Stadium, and it's pretty, man. It's shiny and it's, you know, they got all the technology and integration and
all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, but like when you sit in there, I mean, it's a completely different vibe than sitting in Lambeau. It's so
right.
And obviously you're going to have that any stadium you go, because you're going to have, you know, the feel from the other fans. I mean, I can't imagine having to go to fucking Kansas City and watch a game, man. That would, yeah. For me that'd be like me going, and I've been back when it was the Dome, the Metrodome. Yep. Been to a Packer Viking game there, and yeah, you're friggin' pilgrims in an unholy land.
Yep, absolutely.
And you are like, I literally hate everybody that's here.
Right. It's hard to bite your tongue in some of those. That's for sure.
Yeah, but man, that stadium in Vegas, yeah,
it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I hope. I know they're saying that it might not be open for like this season. I mean, if we have a season opening, I guess, when it's supposed to.
Who knows?
But they said that it might not quite be done. But if it's opening weekend and it's opened up and they're in Vegas, I will be there. I'm going for sure.
How do you feel about the Raiders? Let's say they don't have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback because they traded away their next 10 years #1 picks.
I'm excited. I agree with the choice to keep Carr at quarterback for this year. I think he gets one more year.
Yeah.
After this year, if he's had the same last 2 years, I think they'll move on and they'll look to draft somebody younger at least. Maybe not trade him right away, but they'll start to look for somebody younger to kind of look to groom to take that spot. But man, we're putting together, you know, had a really good free agency, a really good draft, I feel like. Some of them were a couple reaches in the draft, but we'll see how it plans out. I think Mayock and Gruden kind of know what they're doing. But
what a combination that is, dude.
Gosh, I would love to sit in a room with those two and just listen to them talk about players and football and strategy. Like, two geniuses, I feel like, anyways. But I'm biased, obviously.
You're slightly biased. Let's see. Pork Chop Goes Fast says, so the Raiders will be known as the Showgirls. Well, I don't know. Not at this point, man. We got friends out in Vegas, man. It's just like Jonestown the morning after. Like everybody drank the Kool-Aid, man. It's just fucking streets are empty. There's no showgirls around, man. Those poor girls out there just trying to make a living, you know?
Right.
Favorite rookies. Who are your favorite? Your favorite rookies? Who are your favorite rookies this year that you drafted, Raiders?
So I love the Ruggs pick. So he was the wide receiver from Alabama.
Yeah, beast.
The dude is just lightning fast. And I always think it's funny because Al Davis was the owner for the Raiders, was always known for, he didn't give a shit who you were, where you came from. If you were the fastest guy and we had you on the board, we were taking you every single time. So I know that everybody's saying that was an Al pick to just pick the fastest receiver, because Judy was on the board from Alabama, who was their number one. And then they still had CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma was still on the board. But I feel like that we needed somebody that could stretch the field with that speed and that explosion. Man, I watched some of the highlights of that kid, and he is just lightning fast. Every third catch he had went for a touchdown. 24 of 79 catches went for touchdowns.
That's a pretty good average for those of you keeping score at home.
Right. Granted, he plays for Alabama, and sometimes they're in the Southeast Baptist Catholic girls, but
oh, that's amazing. Let's see, we got Pork Chop goes fast. It says, hi, Zebby. Disruptive one, the Ismails. Like the Rocket? Oh, is that's a old school.
Right, yeah, Ismail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the Raiders draft him? I think they did.
Dude, I was having a hard enough time trying to figure out my draft picks. I'm like, what in the fuck are we doing? Like, we just took a quarterback who we have and a running back who we have in our first two picks.
Yep.
I should have been paying closer attention.
We were catching some heat. We took that cornerback from
the old Al Davis pick,
Arnett, and I think it was kind of a reach, and everybody was kind of bitching and complaining. But then when the Packers came in and took Jordan Love, it like completely took the heat off of us. So I appreciate you guys.
That's probably why they made that pick. They're like, everybody else who has had a shitty first round pick, let's really give everybody else something to talk about.
Watch this shit.
God,
so the biggest thing, I'm so glad they did the draft. And one of the main reasons is because if I had to read or listen to one more mock draft from Mel Kiper Jr., I'm going to how many times can they redo those things? And I get it. They're just trying to, there's nothing else in the NFL really going on. They're trying to buy time to get there. And it's like, I remember the day after the draft this year, somebody had already posted projected drafts for 2021 for all. I'm like, God, give it a break. You just did all that shit.
Oh God. Yeah. And especially now when everything's in limbo and they're starting to get like that, they literally, nobody has anything to fucking do. So they're like, I know what we can do. Let's predict the top 10 college football teams for 2021. Like they may not have fall sports, people. Like there's universities talking about no fall sports. There's high schools talking about no fall sports yet. But we're bored. So you know what happens when they start canceling that shit? They just go top 10 teams for 2022. Like it's just move it on. God, but yeah, Kiper's the best at it though, man. He's got that fire. He's just like, I'm gonna redo my picks. Here we go. 1 through 10.
I wonder, he's another guy that he probably just sits in his office for 10 hours a day, just watching film, just studying everybody. And the biggest thing about Mel Kiper, does he have any NFL history? Like, was he ever a player or a coach or anything like that? So where does he get his box to stand on?
I think he's got great hair, and that makes for good TV.
He's got that nice slick back.
Yeah, and it's been the same for 20 years, and he just goes and, dude, I don't even want to. I'm
getting close to the Mel Kiper slick back. I feel like
I got no barber, and I miss him, and I love him, and he needs to get back to work. So, but yeah. Exactly. Kiper's picks, that's his gig though. I mean, imagine that's your job. Watch football, and you have to. I mean, there's watching football, and then there's Kiper watching football. Like I imagine that's like Mayock. Same. Probably 12 hours a day.
Right. That's just what he does. Like he said, Mayock was saying he loves it because he's like, I literally just get to sit in my office and watch TV or watch players all day. And he's like, if I want to call him, I give him a call. And he's like, it's been great. Nothing really changed.
Now I just have to watch him for one specific group, which has to be, probably makes the process easier. You're not trying to say, well,
Right.
I think that Green Bay probably needs to draft a wide receiver, which
this guy would fit here.
yeah.
That guy would
Now he's
fit
like,
here.
what do I need?
Right.
What does Gruden need? How about that? What does Gruden need besides his,
John.
he needs a sandwich?
Yeah. He needs a Corona.
But yeah, I'm glad the draft happened. It was an interesting watch. It was amazing to watch the I don't want to say technical difficulties necessarily, but like the awkwardness of the whole fucking thing. Trey Wingo, and it's just like, I don't even know. Like, where are we going next? Oh, we're going to. So I think it really. It likens me back to our conversation about like artists going on and doing shows on Instagram or doing, live shows on YouTube or Facebook or whatever.
Yep.
They're people. I don't want to say they're starting to realize, but I think understanding that right now nobody gives a shit about like sound quality.
Yeah.
They don't
cares.
If you're messing up, they're like, oh my gosh, these guys who are usually so like on point and scripted and can hit that post and send it to the next reporter on a dime, and they're just like, oh no, sorry, that wasn't for you, that was for Mel, and they're looking at the wrong camera, and it's just
it was over here.
Yeah,
right.
But it's really given, it goes to the whole we are all in this together kind of mentality, because we're all like, wow, these professionals, when they're put on the dime of having to be
right
in the moment, live, not really sure how it works,
to make it happen without having any clue how it was all going to go down.
Yeah, it was. So I mean, I think that was cool. There was one, and I haven't been able to find it yet because I'm not sure. And I put in all the Google words like over and over again. There was somebody, I thought it was Barstool that posted it, but I looked on Barstool and it wasn't them. There was a draft cam that was set up in somebody's house, as they were for all the potential draft picks. And so you got the player sitting on the couch and the families around him. And the camera showed like dude coming out of a door behind him with a shirt off, putting his shirt back on. And then a girl behind her, like fixing her hair. I was like, I saw it on, I think it was on Insta. No, maybe it was on I think it was on Facebook. And I was like, that is the best.
Yeah,
they were totally just doing it.
Right. And they were just in the comfort of their own home, just with all over. Like the one dude that had his girlfriend sit next to him and she was on his phone and he like snatched it back from her. And he was in so much heat for that.
Like, dude.
Yeah.
They're watching all the time. Well, and if you sit there long enough, I mean, imagine that. You're just sitting there and you like the draft starts and, whenever you're projected to go. And you kind of have, so you're kind of watching. Obviously, you're paying attention to this. Your mom is over there, and she's probably wearing that dress she picked up 5 years ago to wear for your draft party, and
her draft dress.
But then, like, time goes by, and you just completely forget, like, what the fuck is going on, and you're just like, oh god, like, I'm actually sitting here watching the draft, like, just, bitch, get my phone back. Like, what are you doing? Like, oh, that was on national television.
Whoops.
Pork chop goes fast. Wants to know when you're growing your hair back.
Right now. Oh, it's so long.
Look at this guy.
God.
Look at them locks.
It's a mess.
Going back to Rockstar here pretty soon, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wish we could play some shows so I could throw it around a little bit, but I don't see that happening anytime soon either. But
have you watched any virtual things? Any of the shows on social media? I know, like you said, we talked about this before we started recording. You're the guy trying to figure out which button to push.
For sure. Gosh, the one that was awesome was Post Malone and Barker doing Nirvana songs.
That was fantastic.
Was awesome. And totally just because it was kind of out of left field, I feel like. And a lot of people didn't know that about Post Malone, that he was actually into like grunge and hard rock bands and stuff before he kind of started doing his own thing.
Right.
So to see him do that, it was super cool. And I thought they killed it, crushed it. And how about like that? They're literally just set up in his kitchen.
Yeah.
Right in front of his bar. Travis is in the next room over, and then the other dude is over there. Like, so cool. I loved it.
Dude, awesome. I watched Post Malone do a fucking an acoustic set with Dwight Yoakam.
Nice.
I'm like, if he's not the most eclectic, musically gifted human roaming the earth right now,
right?
I don't know who is.
Right.
Like, he can fit and feel every every genre. And I think it's an interesting take on, and you'll have an appreciation for this, because there's in the rock format, there is different styles. Obviously, you're going to have the heavy stuff, your Lamb of Gods and your Slayer and Slipknot, I think is opened up, I think, a little bit more. You have the alternative side of stuff. You have, but what you have in that mix of a rock genre is a lot of bickering about what rock and roll really is. It's a weird.
Yep.
It's and I, having dealt with it from the radio perspective and trying to program a station that you're targeting an audience who can really like this and really fucking hate this, and but this is really good, and like what the hell is a Greta Van Fleet? Well, I don't know. How does that fit into this mix?
But it's all supposed to be the same. I mean, it's all kind of in the same umbrella.
It's all supposed to fit in the same, underneath the same umbrella. You look at, I think country fans are widely accepting of there's only two sections, it feels like. Everything before 2000 is awesome. And everything after 2000 is awesome. And there's some that are like,
yes,
whatever. I got Johnny Cash tattooed on my leg.
Absolutely.
I'm old school.
I love old school country. Love it.
When a guy like Post Malone can go and top hip hop charts with any of those Nirvana covers, probably if they released that, could go back into rotation at rock radio, and would get pushed back because rock fans are like, don't you fuck Kurt, man.
You're right.
Don't you fuck with Kurt.
Right.
Rest in peace. Change the world. But that, and then dude does country too. It's ridiculous.
So I always, like, one of my biggest things with rock and roll is we're so secluded. You started to see like a lot of country and hip hop like start to collab, and you'd kind of get that hip hop feel, not hip hop, I guess, but like rap feel to it in some country songs, like some of the top 40 sounding styles. And rock and roll was just kind of still left in its own little category over here, where everything was kind of starting to combine and at least mesh with each other a little bit. And that's one thing that like rock and roll should be kind of thankful, because Post Malone's at the top. And, he did this stuff with Ozzy, and now doing like Nirvana stuff. Like, he's kind of giving rock and roll a light from the hip hop side or the rap side, and I appreciate that, because I think that hopefully that draws more fans back to rock and roll a little bit, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Post sang an Elvis song on TV, on a TV special, and the whole Elvis look thing happening. Crazy. Dude can do it all. I mean, he can be that multi-genre artist that really hasn't existed, because what happens when bands or artists switch genres, they're chastised from their previous genre. I mean, it's Nickelback, Taylor Swift. I mean, the list can go extensively on and on. But no, I think it's a weird. Hip hop has like figured shit out in a technological way of embracing what's out there, knowing where their fans are. I mean, you went through and then go through the rock formula. You release a song, you release an album, the tour cycle, you push it to radio, you send out the email blast via All Access, and the stations get it. You got a guy who pushes it and contacts radio guys and goes, hey, you should check out this new song. And otherwise, you just reached out to me and were like, dude, we got a new single. And I'm like, cool, let's play it. I was different. That's probably why I'm no longer in the mix. But
we had it like that between us. I like that. I wish it was more like that, where it was more one-on-one like that, and so.
Now you can see what happens to guys who make it like that. They end up doing their live streaming on Saturday night, drinking beer on Twitch. That's what life turns into. I'll drink to that. But hip hop figured out that you can be and sell and make a shit ton of money and sell out shows and have zero radio play.
Right.
You can be the biggest artist in the genre, not have and this is outside of the Jay-Z's and the Eminems of the world, obviously, because they've achieved this global mass appeal success. But how much is it a pain in the ass for them to cut fucking 2 of every of their songs. Be like, oh, I got to cut the clean version for radio. And
Yeah.
But hip hop has gone like, all right, well, fine, fuck you. We'll go to TikTok and I'll release 15 seconds of audio and it will become the most played song in radio ever.
Right.
And he'll win Grammys. And, Old Town Road, Lil Nas X, man.
Yeah.
TikTok. That's where that song came from, fucking TikTok. And nobody knew it.
Is that where it started?
The rage started on TikTok. Wow. And it got picked up. Radio picked it up. And Billy Ray Cyrus jumped on it, made it a thing. Country radio picked it up. Obviously, Top 40 radio had it. And dudes walking down and picking up Grammys or, getting nominated for Grammys.
Yeah, you couldn't walk out of your door and not hear that song somewhere.
And that's
commercials, everything, radio.
Well, maybe he had a good inclining, and I don't really follow Lil Nas X much, but I mean, if you have like that feeling, like I didn't have any knowledge that this song was going to be what it was going to be, and it blows up, and the money comes in, and you're like, fucking ride it, dude. Ride the wave until the wave is gone, because song 2 could suck.
Yep. Yeah. You think writing song number 1 is hard. Wait till you have to try and write song number 2 and top song number 1.
Ooh, here's a good question. I like this one. Pork Chop Goes Fast. Favorite Elvis and Johnny Cash songs?
Gosh. Elvis has to be Blue Suede Shoes for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
Man, Johnny Cash, that's such a tough one. Because don't get me wrong, I love all the hits, but some of his like not popular stuff was a lot more my favorite.
Yeah.
The Sunday Morning Coming Down.
Oh, best hangover fucking song ever written.
I love that one.
I know what that feels like, John. I know that feeling.
Yep.
No, God, Cocaine Blues.
Yeah.
Great song, great live song on the Folsom Prison album.
The soundtrack, live.
That was that's one of my favorites. I mean, that's weird when you get stuck down a Johnny Cash hole, and that's happened a lot.
Yep.
Especially now, because you're like, oh, I'll throw on some Johnny Cash. You go to Amazon Music or you go to Spotify or whatever, and you just throw on the Johnny Cash, and you just go, oh my God, oh that song, oh God, that song. And when he came back and did the covers record, and he did Hurt, I mean that Hurt video was, I don't get emotional about like watching music videos, because that's not really, sometimes it's the intent, but
right.
When you are a fan of somebody, and I think when you understand the legacy that they've had, not just in one genre, but dude, rock and roll, Johnny Cash, kind of the same fucking thing.
Absolutely.
And
icon. And
to have an attitude about life that's just kind of like,
I fucked it up, whatever, no big deal.
But no, God, the Johnny Cash, now I want to go and just fucking jam, dude.
I can tell you right now, when we're done with this podcast, I'm going to listen to a shit ton of Johnny Cash. That's for sure.
Did you watch Walk the Line, the movie? Joaquin?
For sure. And Joaquin's awesome.
God, outside of his views, his outspoken political views, which
some of his personal stuff is a little odd,
but man, that dude is. You want to talk about finding your craft and being more dedicated than maybe anybody else is to any craft.
Right.
That dude like lives it. He's like, I have to be the Joker.
Yeah.
I'm literally going to turn myself into a psychopath.
Right. Right.
But him as Johnny.
But him and Reese Witherspoon killed it for Walk the Line. That was so good.
Yeah, and she was amazing. I mean, that story, to know that how that played out and what that meant for both of their musical careers, and for their children, who are incredibly musically talented. I mean, it's just, God, what a thank you, Pork Chop Goes Fast, for bringing up the Johnny Cash thing, because that's, oh man, makes me, I'm gonna do the same thing, dude. Like I'm gonna take this. Man, gonna take this cooler that I bring down for when I do podcasts.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go up and jam out to some Johnny Cash. Make sure my kid didn't burn the house down. Okay. So favorite new songs. Favorite new songs.
Favorite new songs.
So so probably current things that are out right now.
Man. So I mean, obviously I'm into hard rock. So I've been in a ton of heavier stuff lately. The new Lamb of God is really good. There's a new, and I'm always trying to find those up and coming bands that are just about to hit that, like, I take pride in trying kind of being a fan before they really make it. There's a band called Polaris that I really like, that post-hardcore heavy. I'm a huge Beartooth fan. So
God, Caleb Shomo, man, that dude is a fucking beast.
What a stud. I was talking, so my brother and I were talking about this. I don't know if he has like his own studio or if he's starting to like produce some bands, but he's doing like a ton of like, cameos and like step-ins on songs and stuff. But he's kind of all over the place right now, and I love it. He's so talented.
There's a lot of that going on. I was talking to, who the fuck was I talking to? I talked to someone. This is like the great thing about like this quarantine thing is I've been able to reconnect with a lot of with you and my buddy Nixon from Framing Hanley and Greg Upchurch. I just had him on. Who the fuck was I just talking to that was talking about that? I think it was Nixon from Framing Hanley, who's down in Nashville, and he's like, they've been able to reach out and get other people to do stuff,
right?
And jump on board, like, hey, I want you to. No, it wasn't. I take it back, as I'm thinking and talking at the same time, which is difficult for me at this age. It was Mikey Carvajal of Islander. I had. So Mikey was talking about them having the opportunity to say, hey, we wrote this song. I think he was talking about Jacoby was going to jump on something from Papa Roach, and they had a bunch of like guitar pieces for different different guitarists that was out there, and those who have the capabilities are like, fuck yeah, dude, like what do you got? Like I'll jump on it, and I'll. So they're looking at Islanders looking at releasing an album, kind of this like the quarantine sessions, which was what I kind of call this whole thing, of like different artists jumping on board and being a part of it, but no, it's really, but Caleb Shomo, man, the dude is just, you watch him rip on stage.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to him right before their show a couple of years ago up at Rockfest, and dude comes out and is like, we talked about fucking golf. He's like an avid golfer. Right. It's like that Alice Cooper thing. Like you see this guy on stage and you're just like, for Cooper, he's just like ripping head, cutting heads off and snakes and fucking blood and blah, blah. And then you see him in like short pants, playing the back nine at fucking Kohler. But Caleb's the same way, man. He's like, they have his tour manager was like, I'm like, hey, I see Kadada in here, but then I see like Ojibwa and Chippewa, and I'm like, that's like, there is no reason for this bus to stop at any of those places. Unless you need gas. Like, he's like, no. Caleb goes through and checks out where all the fucking golf courses are in the area when we get to a spot. So if he's got time, he can go and shoot nine. I'm like,
sticks.
And then he gets on.
I always feel bad when you and I get to catch up and do stuff like this, that we most of the time end up talking about sports or something else other than music related, which is how we met, which was awesome. But I always feel kind of bad that it ends up being more about the sports or some of that stuff. But
no, I think especially during all this and what kind of this is about, it's an expansion of life. It's like, we're all like, well, we can go to the store, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But no, I love talking about music. I love talking about life, sports. It's the fundamental elements of Southtown. Oh wait, that's POD. But so you're liking New Lamb of God.
New Lamb of God, Beartooth.
Beartooth is ripped.
That I Prevail album was really good too. Trauma.
God, those guys are so good. That's
so when they first came out with the Taylor Swift cover, I wasn't a fan, but I always, it's only because I appreciated their original music more than I appreciated the Taylor Swift cover song.
Right.
And it always makes me mad when like, don't get me wrong, I love when bands do covers and I love when it gets them popular, but I hate it when bands or when people don't listen to the rest of the music. Right. That's the only thing they knew was the Taylor Swift cover. And it's like, gosh, they have so many other really good songs on those albums.
Yeah.
I think Trauma kind of finally put them over the top of that.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, we're not the Taylor Swift cover, you know, that's not what we're known for anymore. So
yeah, they've done a great job of, I think it's still a part of their set. It's still a part of who they are.
For sure.
You know,
for sure.
They came out on that record and in my opinion should have had 5 hits, but they had 4 really solid singles. I mean, Alone and Stuck in Your Head and God, I can't. Yeah, but they're so good, and it.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they haven't been like pigeonholed as the band that does. I think in rock fandom in the fan world, they're not the band that does it. I think they've gotten to a point now when that song comes up in a set or when they play it, it's more like, oh yeah, that's right, they did that. They did that Taylor Swift cover. They've done a great job of that. Yeah, it's, you know, for me, the toughest part for me about, well, I shouldn't say tough. It hasn't really been that difficult. Rock radio for 20 years, 2 decades of my life devoted to it. And trying to be, I think, like super duper not cutting edge, but more open to, I don't need to play the top 20 songs on repeat and then the top 20 library songs and then the 62 Metallica songs. I mean, my programming mentality was we need to somehow make this dying entity relevant in a world where if I really want to hear a song, I just yelled in the air and my robot plays it for me.
Right.
How do you do that? Well, discovery. Okay, discover new music, discover new artists. You know, that's you know, my love for Screaming for Silence and a bunch of other bands who, you know, just pound the pavement. A lot of times, you know, you're not working with this giant budget of like, oh, we have a shit ton of money, we're going to go and push it into this single and get it to radio. And man, if it gets in iHeart or if it gets into Cumulus or if it gets into Intercom and, you know, so I had a different mentality about that, but living and breathing rock radio for 20 years and knowing the difficulties and not that it was the reason I was let go from radio, but I didn't play by necessarily the rules a lot in many aspects. But
and like I've always said, we really appreciated that. Well, you know, you said you gave us a huge chance, you know.
Well, there's something more. I think there's something more rock and roll about being rebellious about things than there is about being cookie cutter. I think that should be left for other genres. But again, that's just me.
Right.
But I've had a chance, and I think it's been really good for me to open up my musical aptitude a little bit.
Yeah.
I've really, I still lean to rock. I'm still a rock leaning guy. I still, I know the songs that I want to hear. I'll still tap into the new bands that I want to check out, or bands I knew that at the cusp that when I left were like fucking right there. But man, I've gotten into some weird shit, like weird music. You know, I'm so eclectic. It's ridiculous. Like I'm on G-Eazy to Yellow Wolf to fucking like Guar. I was on a Guar kick. I'm like, what the fuck am I on? It, you know, in country and like old blues. Like it's just been really cool to be able to like feel like a listener for the first time since I was a teenager. I got into radio when I was 18. I'm not 18 anymore, as you can tell. I'm aged a little bit, but I've been able to enjoy music, I think, from a different vantage point. And like now I go to like what I feel, I'll listen to.
Right.
If I'm like top down, top off in the Jeep and on a cruise, I'll plug in some old school country. You know, I'll do some fucking open road shit or some Bob Seger or just like some real Tom Petty.
Yep.
You know, just feel it. Working out stuff, jams. I mean, if I'm running, hip hop has a really good cadence for running. I'm telling you, it's and if I'm, lifting heavy things, which, semi-heavy things, small child, yeah, it's rock.
Flipping tires in the backyard.
Oh man, Beartooth. Nothing goes better than fucking Beartooth. Listen to. Okay, I'll flip a tire now.
Flipping over.
Yeah, it's it's really awesome to have this time to. Again, we talked about the rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Us after this is done, like we're both going to be like in Johnny Cash. We're going to be in Folsom Prison. I mean, with any luck.
I think I'm going to have a few drinks and listen to some Johnny Cash and then probably top my night off and watch Walk the Line at the end of the night.
Oh,
my Saturday night. That's what I got going.
Hey, my kid is probably running in the neighborhood right now, picking up chicks. So, he's one step ahead of me.
Right. At least he's out and about. Huh?
Well, he came down. He saw my short, like, what's up? But he was like, can I go outside? And I know there's, we had three neighbors move in 2 houses down from us with 3 daughters.
Oh boy.
And he's like, can I go outside? I'm like, that's kind of, I mean, you can.
Mm-hmm.
The so-and-sos are out. Oh.
That's why. How old is he again? How old's your boy?
He's 10.
10.
Okay. I kept something alive for 10 years, man. I'm pretty happy about that. I feel like I've accomplished a lot in life.
That's a good pat on the back thing, I think. Did you happen to catch our guitarist? Well, Casey, but for everybody else, our guitarist Casey, gender reveal his gender reveal video.
I didn't see the video.
Oh my gosh! If you get a chance, go watch. They posted it on their Facebook, and he was. I love you, Casey. If you're listening, by the way.
Okay, Casey. I miss. Oh man, do I have a story about Casey? I can't even. Back when he was crazy.
So Casey and Bridget were so dead set that they were having a boy. And a spoiler alert, they're having a girl. But just the priceless look on Casey's face, and just afterwards, he's like pacing. He's like, "Now I got to start."
Look at how happy he looks. Look at that happy fella.
Oh, there they are. So just the look on his face, and he's like, "Man, now I got to start lifting weights. I got to get big. I got to start being able to fend off all these fucking savages trying to hit on my daughter."
Dude, he's got time.
Yeah, he's got.
Back when he was crazy, yes, yeah. More chop goes fast back. He's still crazy, I know, but
right.
My first encounter with not my first encounter. One of my encounters with Casey was, you guys let him go and hang out with us, which was probably a mistake.
Thank you for babysitting him for us.
Oh my God. We it was after all the main stage shows were done for the day, and you guys had been done, and we came up. We were hanging out with you in the merch booth, and we're like, well, we're gonna go down to the bottom bar and drink, and y'all were like, cool, go. And Casey's like, let's go. I'm a fucking in, man. And the greatest thing was that it fucking started with the Mohawk was like straight the fuck up. Like it was like we're up and going. And by the time I saw him waddle away, like zigzag, like it looked like someone was shooting at him, because when someone shoots at you and you're running away, you're supposed to zigzag. It just looked like it was like that Mohawk was like left, right, sideways, up. I mean, it had like 4 different directions. It was amazing. And I think I tried to get a hold of you and be like, did you guys find him somewhere?
He always wanders home at some point anyways.
But the second time that we got on the hang at Rockfest, like all your shit went flying out of a fucking suitcase on the way to the show. Like I have no clothes. I'm like, I got some fucking shit. I don't know, whatever.
I still have people ask me about that from when the last time you and I caught up on the podcast. Mm-hmm. And that story, I still have people be like, that's crazy that we went through a lot of crazy shit. That's for sure. And like I said, you guys came in as the saving light anyways, with all the gift bags, with all the deodorant and all that. God, I couldn't have used it at a better time right then.
It's one of my favorite questions that I've asked in my career in radio and on podcasts is like, Like when you decide to be a musician, and it's there's amazing female talent out there, and I love each and every one of them. But I'm like, when I talk to the dudes and know it's in a band full of dudes, I'm like, you decided at some point in your life, you love music. Like I want to make this a career. Mm-hmm. And you decide to basically live in a van with a bunch of fucking dudes forever. Like that's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get into a van or a car with a trailer or a Sprinter or some. We're going to live on this fucking thing
in that small compartment
forever. And we stink, and we're probably going to go days without showering and washing and run out of deodorant and stuff. And
we traded my small bulldozer for the big, cool red, white.
Awesome. My kid's making deals outside. Did you meet the girls? Were the girls out?
No.
Get them, boys.
One like from the backyard.
Oh, you. Yeah.
I don't play with them anymore. I'm gonna wash off that truck because it was theirs.
Okay, you wash it up, dude. And then when we're done with this, you tell me what her name was.
That's right.
Because I want to know.
Remember Blake? I played with him.
Awesome. But no, there's no. But so when you get into a career choice of hanging out with dudes in stinky vans and traveling and really like hoping for a gym to be in a town that you're playing, because you're like, we're going to go to the gym. Am I going to work out? No, I'm going to go use the fucking showers.
Yeah, I just want to shower. Right?
That's dedication, man. That's for the team.
And you know, at the time, like when we were in the heat of all that stuff, you didn't really think about it. And you just, it felt awful, and you were miserable, and you were, your ears are ringing, you're hungover every day, like just tired, you're cramping up, you're confined in this little area. And now I look back at it, and that's what I miss.
Yeah.
I miss being in the van. Like I miss that, waking up every day and you just travel to the next town, load your shit in, and rock it out, and then on to the next. Like it's crazy. We got to get a tour going again so we can get back on the road. It's been too long.
It has been too long. You guys need to get out and get back up here to Wisconsin or at least back out on the road, man. It's amazing. I have such an admiration for artists, for musicians, for those who make that choice, not just because of the stinky guy factor,
right?
But it's a. I feel like I grew up and watched a Motley Crue video or two, and had a perception of what like rock and roll looked like.
Right.
And you see the glitz and the glam and the show and the fans and the chicks. I mean, let's be honest, chicks.
No,
and
that's a myth. That's a myth.
I'm like, wow, like I feel like I should do that. And then I realized that I had no talent, and I was like, you know what I should do? And I'm going to steal this quote from Lou Brutus. Lou Brutus's dad, and I read his book, which is out right now. You should grab it. It's called Sonic Warrior. Yeah. He talks about his dad one time saying they're watching the Ed Sullivan show, and they're like, he's like, I really like these artists that come on, and there's musicians that come on. And his dad's like, look at Ed Sullivan. He collects a check, and all he has to do is be the pointer. He just goes, and there is the Beatles. There is the Rolling Stones. And so Lou had that quote, and I said, that's my jam. Like, I'm the pointer. I realized I didn't have the talent, so I will just talk about them and point at them and be like, here is Screaming for Silence.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what I would do. But
that's awesome.
For those who have that, yes, Pork Chop, have you seen The Dirt? I've seen The Dirt. Have you seen The Dirt?
Yeah.
The doc. Oh, God.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I don't even like Machine Gun Kelly, but he did a hell of a job, man.
Yeah. I wish they would have did like 3 or 4 episodes. Like instead of cramming the 1 hour and 45-minute movie, I wish they would have broken up and really elaborated on some of those stories, because the book's amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say if you read the book, the opening chapter of the book, obviously they could not show on even on Netflix, because there was you can't. But that, like, I almost want to develop a network that's like, here's like the real fucking story. Like here's like
this is really how it went
yes,
down.
here is
Not
the
the
girl.
watered down PG version.
Here's the girl and the blow and the heroin and it just hookers asses, the whole thing.
Right.
But no, I mean it's for those that have the talent that go through, make the choice to go into it and live. I mean, really live the dream because you guys go out and do shows when you can, when we're not in fucking quarantine. Right. And everybody else, the fans that are there, the people that are there, the workers that are there, they're all going. I mean, this is their escape. Like this is you going to work. Your work is everybody else's escape. And that is something that I've always admired about every artist. I think that was instilled in me at a young age. Like, and I remember my dad taking me to my first concert, which was a country music festival. And he was like, "Are you having fun?" And I was like, "This is amazing."
Yeah.
Dude,
great.
I mean, Chris Ledoux was on stage. Chris Ledoux was a saddle bronc rider and rodeo and wrote songs and ended up being a country music artist and passed away several years ago. But he was like, "We're out here having fun." And I looked around and there's, drunk people everywhere. And they're just, "Oh my God, this is amazing." But he's like, that guy up there is working. This is his work. This is what puts food on his family's table. And I really took that into like hardcore consideration as to like, that is a different, I mean, y'all are a different breed. Y'all are a different breed because there's that's your energy, man. That's your feed. That's your, like, you want to be out on stage. You want to be out having people run into each other and from 6 feet apart and
all the sweaty vans and the load-ins and load-outs and all of that. It's gratifying because I truly believe that making the music and being on stage and performing is all of that bullshit we went through and did every single day was, that's what makes it worth it, is when you get that half hour or hour on stage where you get to perform and kind of, be yourself out there. So that's my favorite part. I just get to cut loose and just go let it all hang out.
So what's, I don't want to say I want to rap on this, but I should probably go see if my son has any hickeys on his neck. Cause I don't know. I was probably 10, maybe. Nah, probably not. I was probably 8. But so, we talked about 15 years Screaming for Silence. And we'll, on the podcast edition of this, by the way, if you're watching the live stream, thank you all. Yes. Nikki Six, Pork Chop has made an amazing career out of his life. And from a guy who almost died of a heroin overdose. He's done all right for himself, man.
He's done okay. He's done okay.
But 15 years doing the damn thing. Life takes all of us in different directions. We all go through shit and we all go through changes and we all, I don't want to say grow up, but we, have to put food on the table or
for sure
wear a mask, go into a store.
It was just weird in those 15 years, like we missed out on a lot of those things. We missed out on starting families and buying houses and doing things like that. So, like I said, I know we're not as active as we once were on the road and touring and things like that, but I'm also extremely proud of all of our guys and, for getting to do those things. So,
So what do you, for you, as the artist that you are, Zeb, my brother from another,
yes, sir.
What do you feel like? What's the next step? I mean, I know we all are living under these weird restrictions. You can't you really can't plan anything. You can't be like, hey, fall sounds good or this sounds good. If you had a perfect world and you could unlock the take the cage off of all of us right now, what is your goal? What is your vision? What do you want to do next?
I definitely, I want to see us get in the studio again and work on some more music. Like I said, that's a lot of things have just kind of been on the back burner with all this and just life, all these life events, but, and start to play some shows again. I really look forward to that, especially during this quarantine thing. I really look forward to getting back on stage and being with the guys on stage again and getting to do that. And I hope that becomes more of a regular thing instead of just a few times a year like it has been the last year or so.
Right.
And I hope that includes new music. So we're working on that, and hopefully we get to that point where we can get in the studio and get those juices flowing and come up with some new stuff.
All right, so we got closing questions here. Pork Chop it says, what do you guys think about a virtual show? Is that something you guys would pull together, or do you think that it's? I understand. It's two ways, man. It's two ways. I mean, there's people that are really adamant about sound quality. It's a tough thing to put together. Timing is. I watched Charlie Watts air drum for a Stones thing, and I was like, we should maybe we should have done this a different way. So I get that there's some hesitation there, but would you or maybe a couple of the guys? I mean, would there be some capabilities here?
I would definitely love to look at, and we've talked about it. My biggest thing, like I told you, I'm so bad with technology and the button masher that like how to get that with all of us in different places to work. So,
dude, I'll tell you what. For the low price of him cleaning his fucking room, my child will set up your virtual show and make it happen. Like, dude, like the kid's a whiz.
So the one that I loved, I don't know if you're a fan of Goldfinger at all.
Yeah. That was good.
The band Goldfinger, they were doing it like live clips from all their different houses, and I was like, that would be so cool to do. So if your little one knows how to set that up, give him my number.
I will do that. You're gonna get some weird shit. I'm just telling you right now. Like, he'll be like, look at my Fortnite character. Oh, by the way, you got to run an XLR cord from here to here, and they make sure that you got to record it at separate times and then run it together. And like, thanks, dude. Like, I feel like I had this whole plan as a parent that when he moved out, I was going to send him a bill for all the shit I had to pay for 18 years, or at his rate 35 when he moves out. But he may be just a part of the team now. He may be like
he's earning his keep. I'm sure
my guy. But no, I think there's a way. I think yep. They're looking at yes. Please do it. Please yes. Cub 3 girl says yes. Do it. But no, I think there's let's make it happen. I think you guys getting back out. Make Casey put his hair up in a mohawk again. It'll be like old times, and
that's what I'm saying. I'd love it. Let's do it.
All right, so I'm gonna end it on this. There will be a football season in 2020 to 2021. All right.
Yes,
it will happen. It may be weird.
It's gonna happen,
but it will happen. All right. Raiders season. What is their record at the end of the year?
I think we're going 9-6. 9-6, and I think we'll sneak into the playoffs.
Well, they got is this the year they're adding more? Do we have more teams in the playoffs this year?
So there'll be 2 more teams. So I think we'll get in based on that. But I think that if it was the old, I think we would have snuck in as a wild card this coming year. I think this is our year. I think there's a lot of excitement. I think Gruden's finally kind of getting the ball rolling. It does help. I know we have the Chiefs in our division, but the rest of the division is all kind of rebuilding right now. So I think that gives us kind of an upper hand. I think we're a year or 2 ahead of the Broncos and Chargers rebuilding. So, I think 9-6. That's my prediction.
9-7. There's a 17-game season.
Oh, 9-7.
Oh, there's 17-week season, right?
No, it's 8. Isn't it 18 weeks and you get 1 bye?
Yeah, 18 weeks you get 1 bye, so that would be 17 games.
So 9-6. Is that right?
That would be 15.
That's 15.
9-7.
Whoa!
I don't know.
Way off on that
8-8. Oh wait, those days are over. We don't have 8-8.
Let's go. I'll go 10-6 then.
We'll
lose to the Chiefs twice, and then that gives 4 other games that they can mess around.
17 games, 1 bye, so they'll go 11-6.
Is that Laura Cubby 3 girl?
That's disruptive 1.
Gotcha.
Neither one of you boys are have any faith. 10 wins. 10 wins, she says.
10 wins. We're
10 wins. I like it. Yeah. You know, this here, I'll tell you this. Drafting a quarterback for the Packers may be the best thing that they've done, and I'll tell you why. Because Aaron has always played with the chip. We know the chip. Everybody knows about the chip. Skip Bayless talks about the fucking chip. We get it.
Yep.
If I was him, I'd have a chip too. You know.
Yep.
I don't have his life. If I had a chip, I'd be like, I also have a chip from Pebble Beach while I'm playing here with my girlfriend Danica Patrick, and fucking yeah, he's doing all right for himself. But I think he will. I think he's going to do two things. No, not go Raiders. You shut your filthy mouth.
That's right.
You also shut your filthy mouth. So he is going to be. He is going to do exactly the opposite of what Brett Favre did for him. He's going to be a fantastic mentor to Jordan Love. Remember, our backup quarterback was Deshaun Kaiser. I just want to tell you that right now. So don't feel like we're like, oh no, what are we going to do?
Right.
I think he's going to be a fantastic mentor. I think he's going to teach him a lot of the things. I'll make it three things. I think they're going to use Jordan Love this season. I think they will use him the same way that the Saints use their backup quarterback, whose name escapes me at the current moment.
Hill. Is it Hill or whatever? Number 7.
Yeah. Yes, him. Taysom Hill. Taysom. So he will be implemented in some part of that offense. I think that's a Matt LaFleur thing. I think he would find a way to get him in and run some funky schemes and have him like lined up, and Aaron goes out. It'll be wild. Mm-hmm. And I think you will see maybe the best Aaron Rodgers since the Super Bowl win of 2011.
You think they'll go to the bowl this year? Is it their year to make a run?
I tell you what, I was surprised as shit that they got to the NFC Championship game this year. New head coach, new scheme, one wide receiver who was out for 7 weeks. Devontae Adams with the turf toe was out, so you have no number one. Aaron Jones obviously had a chance to prove himself as an elite back. I think now you have a triple threat at running back with him and our rookie that we drafted from Boston College, and Williams. Super Bowl is tough, man. You know, you got all the 32 teams trying to get to that one thing, but you were one game away from the Super Bowl.
Right.
You had a shitty game. You played like assholes because you weren't ready to be there.
Right.
I don't know.
I agree with that.
My crazy talk. I'm telling you, how many beers I have left in the cooler. I'll tell you what, I have plenty. I'm going to go listen to Johnny Cash and I'm going to finish him off. But I'm telling you, but there's a team in Tampa Bay that is probably going to be really good for the next two seasons, not 3. 2 years. 2 years. Yep. They're going to be really good. Say what you want about Tom Brady as he's not elite. He's not, he's a system quarterback. Motherfucker gets it done.
He's a winner.
Yeah.
He wins. That's all he does is win.
Yeah. So that's gonna be tough. And I know I'm not happy about Tom Brady winning. They're just he's good.
Hey, if that's Cubby Girl,
it is.
I got Tom Brady on my fantasy team. They hate Tom Brady, and I love when Tom's playing well. So I'm good with that.
So that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough in the NFC. But no, it'll be fun to watch because I think that may be our first look at what real life looks like again.
Yep, for sure. And
what stadiums are going to look like. I mean, are they going to max cap? Are we going to have 25% capacity? It's going to look like the XFL or AAF, whatever the fuck that was. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited. It gives us something to look forward to. Stop with the throw up emotion. Time is catching up to Tom Brady.
It's true.
I don't know.
I think he's got 2 years left.
Yeah,
he's got 2 years left, and I think if he has a bad year this first year, he's definitely only got 2 years left. I think if they do well, maybe a third.
I think Gronk's health is going to be a question mark because seen him in the broadcast, not the broadcast booth, but seen him do commentary. I'm like, dude lost a ton of weight. I mean, that's going to happen when you're not hitting it hard and eating 25,000 calories a day.
Yep.
But backs are that's a tough injury, man. That is.
Yep.
He gets the wrong hit and.
Yep. Especially going over the middle all the time, you're gonna take some hits. So he better be ready to roll. That's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Give up on the WWE career and start focusing back on football.
No,
again.
dude, did you fucking see that? Somebody was like, "Hey, they can try to come after your belt at any time."
Right. The money
in the bank belt, so that somebody could jump out of the stands and go after it. That would be fan-fucking-tastic. God, I would love that.
Just meshing it all together. It's quarantine year. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Right? Like he scores a touchdown, somebody jumps out of the stands and like drops the people's elbow on him, and it's gonna be amazing.
Everything's fair game now.
His career was almost ended on the Masked Singer. Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah.
That's true too.
Without an offensive coordinator, he's done skiing. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, is Josh from the Patriots? Josh Daniels. No. Their offensive coordinator, was it Josh Daniels? Right? Josh Daniels.
Yeah. McDaniels.
McDaniels. That's it. He's still there though. I think he's still in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Remember, wasn't he the one that he accepted the Colts job? Was it the Colts head coaching job and then went back to the Patriots?
Bailed.
Before it all happened, like they announced it all, and then like a week later, they're like, "Oh no, that's not true. He's staying with the Patriots."
Yeah. He was up, and that was a surprise. I think when the Packers thing with the LaFleur hiring was that everybody thought Josh McDaniels is going to come in because he's obviously worked with elite quarterbacks and quarterbacks that have a certain mentality. Mm-hmm. And they interviewed him, and they're like, "Nah, dude, nah, no, we're going to go with this, OC from the Titans for 1 year. Obviously, he worked with the Rams, and had massive success there. But
great success, yeah.
Like how Josh McDaniels is not a head coach in the NFL yet is there's something there. I mean, I think, and I've had this conversation with a Patriot fan. He's like the groomed predecessor to Belichick.
For sure.
In a different, obviously Belichick's got the more defensive mentality, and but how do you not? That's where offensive coordinators go. Yep. Is they go, and then they become head coaches, and then.
Yep.
So that
makes me wonder with McDaniels not taking that one job. I think that was before last year. It might have been 2 years ago. I can't remember, but
I think it was 2 years ago because people were talking about it either being the Packers job or the Browns job, because everybody was all like, "Oh my God, the Browns are going to be the best. Oh my gosh, we see how that worked out." But
how'd that pan out for him?
Yeah, so they were like, "Oh, well, you either want to go coach Aaron Rodgers, who is apparently uncoachable, who almost went to the Super Bowl, by the way, or you can go and coach in Cleveland and
get that band of misfits."
Yeah,
yeah.
We see how that worked out.
So you got to think that Belichick's on his last leg. I bet he's the same. I bet he's got a couple of years left, and then he'll be done.
Dude, he had his dog sitting in for him on the fucking draft. He's like, "I don't even care, man. Put the Husky in the chair. I want to pick that guy."
His post interviews are so funny.
Oh God, he's amazing.
I love it.
He doesn't even have to say anything. He just looks.
No.
He's got to look. All right, Zeb Christensen, my friend, my brother from another mother. I appreciate your time and hanging out live on the Twitch, and let's go jam out to some Johnny Cash. But for those who are live streaming, I think our viewers that are watching right now, where can people find you and Screaming for Silence on the social media so they know, so they can go and jump on board?
We got everything: Facebook, screamingforsilence.com, Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. We got it all. You Google Screaming for Silence, it's going to bring it all up. Come find us. YouTube. Check us out on Spotify. Go jam some of the music. We'd love that.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. You know what you guys should do? Get a Twitch account.
Get a Twitch. Yeah, I'm looking into it now for sure.
Awesome. Hey, brother, I appreciate you. I love you. I will. Let's go jam to some Johnny Cash and drink some cocktails. And when you guys get back on the road, I'm going to come find you.
Love you, man. Thank you. I always appreciate the time.
All right. Take care of yourself, man. Zeb, my homeboy. Zeb Christensen, Screaming for Silence. Thanking him so much for being on the podcast and the live stream. Of course, you can catch that live stream when we do them on Twitch, twitch.tv/NoLimitCooper. Otherwise, get the Twitch app if you don't already have it. If you do have a Twitch account, search for No Limit Cooper, hit the follow button, and then you'll know every time that we're busting out another live stream of the podcast. Huge thank you to you for making this podcast a part of your regular routine. We all have a lot of extra time right now, so I appreciate you using that time to enjoy some of the content and conversations that we're having here on the show. Please make sure to follow on the social medias. We're on every platform, I think, unless there's one I'm not sure of yet. Obviously, I mentioned Twitch. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, on Instagram. Instagram, actually, for the podcast is Welcome to Cooperville, and then my personal Instagram page where I do all sorts of crazy stuff. It's like me and my kid, and then me working out and the dog and silliness. That is at No Limit Cooper Official on Instagram. So follow the show, and whichever platform you listen to the podcast on, please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you leave a comment, leave us a nice review, or if you hate us, leave us a shitty review. Whatever you'd like to do, however you feel right now. Maybe you're craptastic right now just because of all this quarantine stuff, but I appreciate you nonetheless. It does not matter. And until next time, high fives. Can we high five yet? No high fiving yet. Air high fives to you. Thank you so much.